Hello, everyone. Really great to be here. Thanks, Figma. Thanks, Config. And thank you all for staying here for the last session of the day. My name is Felipe Rocha. I was born and raised in Brazil. By the way, any Brazilians here? Amazing. Figma in Brazilian Portuguese is the best update so far. Brazil loves Figma, by the way. But yeah, I'm from Brazil, but I've been living in New York for the past 10 years as an immigrant in New York. And then I am the founder and executive creative director of PORTO Rocha. We are a strategy and design agency based in Brooklyn. Oops, I forgot. This is our team. We're cute, right? And then we are actually about to open another studio in London. That's the first time that I'm speaking publicly about it. And yeah, we believe there is a sweet spot in between design and culture and business and strategy. This is where we love being situated. And you might know us or might not know us because of some of the work that we did for Sundance Film Festival, for example. Or maybe some of the work we did for Nike. This one was a Pompidou takeover in Paris during the Olympics last year. Or our Twitch brand evolution. But today I'm here to talk about something else. I'm here to speak. Wait, it's not a meeting. Okay. I'm here to talk about our recent rebrand for Robinhood. And as you notice, I'm not alone. Because I believe that no matter how good the design solution is, it only works when both parts are equally invested. I mean, the agency and the client. And that was the case for Robinhood. So, Carlo, your turn.
Thank you. Super excited to be here. A little bit terrified, so thanks for the invite. But yeah, hey Config. My name is Carlo. I'm the head of creative at Robinhood. Real excited to be here and share a little bit about our rebrand. As you can see, this is the old branding, but we're going to talk a little bit about the process and give you a little bit of context. But we also want to talk about this amazing partnership. I joined Robinhood early 2024. This was the brand we were working with. And what drew me into Robinhood was the chance to help reshape one of the most relevant brands of the last decade. But there was a huge challenge. As you can see, we needed to work on a perception shift. Robinhood has evolved a lot in the last few years, specifically since it launched. It's all about innovation. And despite all this innovation, the perception was kind of stuck in this kind of play money territory. But our users evolved. Our users were investing serious money. And our brand was just not keeping up. I mean, it looked beautiful, but it felt outdated. It felt fragmented. This was, for example, like Robinhood Crypto, a key part of our brand. This felt like its own different thing from a color palette standpoint, illustration style, you name it. We also have Robinhood Gold, our premium offering, that felt like a bolted-on afterthought. Even our marketing and product surfaces weren't speaking or singing the same tune, basically. They felt very disjointed. On top of that, we found ourselves in this kind of fintech sea of sameness. With so many copycats, all green started to look alike. And even our illustration style, which once was so distinctive, became this kind of blueprint for the new players entering the game. So we knew we needed to do something. We needed something that felt stronger, that unified our brand, something that could grow with us and feel more consistent everywhere we showed up. This wasn't just about a logo tweak. We wanted the brand to feel more human, more mature, more scalable, but still be bold and distinctly us. And to share more about that, how we got there, I'll hand it back to Felipe.
Okay. Okay, so in sum, according to what Carlos was saying, this project had 3 main project goals. The first one was to create a system built to scale. The second one was to resonate with an experienced audience. And the third one, to stand out against the sea of sameness. And I'll go one by one to show how we addressed all these different challenges, starting with create a system built to scale, perhaps the most important one. And when I say scale, it's both physically down to the pixel, but also strategically to make sure whatever we do can scale to so many other audiences. Now, more specifically, to their logo. Okay, so yeah, the first step was to look at their current logo and find a way to simplify while keeping it what makes the logo special. So we simplified the iconic feather, really to highlight the rising arrow inside the logo, and here in this video you can see a bit of that process. Then next, we also refined their letter forms of the word mark to create a sharper and more thoughtful brand mark. And here in this page you can see the logo evolution from the left one, how it was before, and the right one, the new one. It's almost unnoticeable, but we do believe it makes a really difference, especially thinking about scaling. And then with a simpler, more confident logo, we were able to unify their brand architecture and then create this structure that is also able to scale. Now, moving into color, we did this pretty much the same exercise with color. And we created a more intentional color palette. So instead of a rainbow of different colors, similar to a lot of our competitors, we decided to keep it simple with black, white, and neutrals as well. And by having this simple color palette, then we created space to add this Robinhood neon, which is a bold electric yellow-green that really, stand out, and it's uniquely Robinhood. And then by having a more focused and intentional color palette, then we were able to focus really on the message and use color only when it makes sense. In this case, we believe it's more important to expand the content, not necessarily the colors. So the second goal was to resonate with an experienced audience. And we chose typography as the core element to tackle on this challenge. A lot of careful thinking went into typography. We felt that the old sense was a bit plain, so we decided to bring in Phonic, a font with these super subtle ink traps that they add personality while keeping it very neutral and crisp. And then for headlines, we chose Martina Planting, a serif that it's both warm and smart. And this is an overview of the identity, the typography system part of the identity, keeping Martina really for, like this headline and brand-led moments, and then using Phonic for small type and in a more utilitarian way. Oops. And then besides typography, Robinhood Gold. Well, Gold for Robinhood Gold, that was a no-brainer. And this is how Gold is also applied into materiality, since their credit card was such an important touch point for them. And this is also how Gold is used in communications. And I really like Robinhood Gold because I do feel it really balances how tech looks like, but also how, traditional finance looks like. So it's really in between both. And then finally, to stand out against the sea of sameness. As Carlo was mentioning before, there was a lot of tension between illustration because it was a big success when it was launched. Those beautiful sci-fi illustrations, they worked really well, especially for, key brand moments. But then in daily use, they were difficult to scale. And then a lot of other brands, a lot of other copycats started using pretty much the same style. So we decided to shift to a more technical, crisp, geometric illustration style, also inspired by financial charts. And then, unlike the previous one, which was really hard to scale and replicate, this new one is easier. And the Robinhood team is doing is doing an amazing job also coming up with new concepts. But we created a library with over 70 illustrations, all animated. And this was done in collaboration with the illustrator Pie Slices. And this is an overview of the library. And what I love the most about the illustration style is that it really works well from product to marketing and everything in between. And then since illustrations, they went to a place that was much more technical and precise, we needed another way to convey, to add more emotion and expression to the identity. So photography became the perfect medium to bring that balance. You all probably know or are familiar with this video from the 70s from IMS, Powers of 10. I love using this video as a reference on how we approach typography. Not typography, photography, sorry. In this video, the play with this video is really playing with the idea of scale, going from, like super macro moment, showing the universe, to super micro, focusing on, like the tiniest details. And going back to illustration, in a way, illustration in the past for Robinhood was this idea of like showing the macro, right? So we asked ourselves, what if we do the opposite and go very micro? And that's what we did with photography. And in this new image world, a close-up of a double-yolked egg, for example, could speak to returns. Or bicycle cassette could represent speed and boost. And P-pods are also related to earnings. And leaking chains, they could allude to cryptocurrencies. And then my personal favorite, even a praying mantis can symbolize your financial journey. And then, this is the complete library of all the photos that we created in partnership with photographer Lauren Bradford and art director Sarah Pritchard. And then, finally, this is how the system came to life. Oops. And as a conclusion, our solution was inspired by, like this very famous sentence I think everyone in this room probably knows about less is more, like this very cliche statement. And this sentence was attributed to Ludwig Mies van der Rohe. Sorry for my terrible German pronunciation. I tried so many times. Ludwig was a German-American and one of the pioneers of modern architecture. And the thing about less is more is that it's often misunderstood as lack of detail or something, like lazy. But in reality, less is more. It's about being more intentional. And that's pretty much what we did in each one of the brand elements for Robinhood, from the logo to photography, typography, illustration. But then also less is more. That doesn't mean that we did less work. In reality, we did a lot of work. This is a video just showing a bit of the process behind the identity. This is probably like just one of the multiple Figma files we had for Robinhood, just to show a bit how our minds they work. Not all of this worked well, but I think that was the intention, because that's how we design. We need to try a lot of things, and eventually you arrive on something that makes sense. And that's why I wanted to also show this process video with you guys. And that's a wrap. Just kidding. I'm a terrible actor. That was just the beginning, actually.
That was the beginning. Thank you, Felipe. Yeah, I think after that amazing work, in partnership with the guys from Felipe Rocha, the hard work began for the people at Robinhood. So I'm just going to flick through some of the examples of what we did. When it came to bringing the brand into the world, like we just started from Robinhood.com, one of our most important touch points, where people learn who we are and what we offer. But that wasn't it. Obviously, we needed to bring the brand to life in our product. These are some onboarding screens as an example. In a few seconds, they needed to communicate new features and benefits clearly and confidently. And this beautiful brand system allowed us to also bring a lot of consistency in a very sophisticated way. Social, another huge touch point. A lot of people, like, this is the first place they see us. So we wanted to feel very fresh, but unmistakably Robinhood. Simple things like a headline or a blank platform. We also had examples here from like performance ads that before they were probably all about conversion, but now they do both. They convert, but they also communicate who we are with a clear and very on-brand look and feel. Sizzle reels, product presentations was a chance for us to reintroduce our products with energy, sophistication, and a clear point of view, where motion type and our tone worked in sync. So as you can see, across all of these touch points, we weren't just trying to show features, we were trying to tell a story that builds trust, that expresses a more sophisticated and more mature brand. So finally, we also wanted to share some of our recent work. This is an Active Traders campaign that we did in collaboration with an amazing partner, Man vs. Machine, that had nothing but compliments for the work done by Felipe Rocha. This helped us pull together everything and convey this trust and sophistication feeling that we wanted. So I'll play it.
The future is here on Robinhood. Purpose built for how you trade. With new ways to execute your strategies and analyze, buy, and sell. Seamlessly trade stocks, options, crypto, and futures in one place.
Then to finish, I just want to say that everything that we created, of course, was possible with the collaboration we had with Robinhood's team and so many other partners that we had to work with, from the photographers, but also Studio Image, Man vs. Machine, the list goes on. But I couldn't finish this talk today to give a special shout out to our team at Felipe Rocha. In particular, Leo, my partner in life and also in business, who is here somewhere. I couldn't find him. But also Joseph, Marcos, Thales, Josh, Ido, Surya, Marek, Natalia, Yao, Pedro, Hamilton, Luciana. If it wasn't for them, none of this would be possible.
Yeah. You're making me look bad. I don't have a beautiful slide with everyone from Robinhood. They know who they are. I don't think we could fit them here. It's a huge effort, cross-functional effort from the marketing team, the creative team. Some of them are here: Carly, Angeline, Esther, Tim, Daniel, Andy, Michael. I'm probably forgetting a few. Devin, if I haven't mentioned you. Yeah, that's why I don't have photos, because I'm going to forget names. And then it couldn't have been possible with this amazing partnership. We wanted to kind of like close it out with a tweet that kind of ended up influencing the name of this talk. Going back to seeing a lot of the internet reactions that we saw, there was this tweet that caught our eye, specifically around this idea of context is everything. I can read it out loud real quick, but this idea basically says context is everything. This looks more polished and refined and less playful than what Collins did, which I'm sure was effective for introducing Robinhood to the mass market at the time. Storytelling never ends. Each chapter is in context of the one before it. And we felt that this was so true to our process, so true to how things happened, so true to our collaboration, and so important for us to speak to this today, because without that context, this wouldn't have been possible. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you.